Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to our full review of Mario Party 7. We've done all the way up to Mario Party, we've done Mario Party 4, 5, 6 in the past, so you can go check those out in the review playlist. But we're on to 7 now. Moving swiftly into it, we're going to start with the game company / creator. Which is, of course, Nintendo is the main people. The B Corporation too. I know they're part of it, but I don't remember the name. But Nintendo's the main people. And Nintendo, you know them for many things. One being Mario-related games, Mario Party games and stuff like that. So not really much closure to go on with them because it's Nintendo. They're a huge corporation. You don't need to know. Moving on to what is done well. Mario Party 7 introduced the special abilities, if I recall. Each pair of characters has a special orb that they can get all throughout the game. So, for example, Mario and Luigi have the Fireball, which is not great. It's okay, I guess, but it's situational, is what I would call that one. You have Peach and Daisy, who have the Flower Orb, which, if used correctly, is very good. You essentially get 3 coins for every space you move, and let's say you move 10 spaces, you just got 30 coins for just doing nothing, for just having that orb. That's 3 minigames that you just got out of that. 3 minigame victories, mind you. So, like, that's pretty insane. And I think like, a lot of boards, especially, the Pagoda Peak, where coins really matter. It's really good on that board. It's really good on the Windmillville, where you're trying to compete for the windmills. So like that one is really good. You have Waluigi and Wario, who have the vacuum, which can be good if you time the roulette wheel right. If you can't time it, then it's a gamble, so I wouldn't really use it if I were you. But if you can time it, then you can get 10 coins per player, which again is another 30 coins just for existing that orb. And sometimes you get coins for just using the orb, so you can get more than 30, but it's pretty insane. So if you can time it, it's just as good as the Daisy one. Yoshi and Birdo have the egg, which, in terms of the CPU, it is the worst thing to ever exist, apparently, because if the CPU has an egg, they'd never use it. Meaning their inventory will just fill up with eggs, and they can never use an orb ever again. I don't know what that oversight was all about, because so that's what can be improved, I guess. But like that's a little strange. But either way, if you're a human being using it, it's pretty okay. Essentially, if you have the egg ability active, you go and you walk over a character space, you get the orb from that space, and it steals it from the player. So that's pretty cool. So let's say you walk over a Piranha Plant that was Luigi's, you steal Luigi's space, and then also you steal the orb. So that's no longer a space anymore, which is pretty cool. Who am I missing? You have Dry Bones and Boo, who have the Magic Wand, which essentially doubles the roll you get. So if you get a 10, they double it to 20, and they turn invisible, skipping all bad events. And bad events correlate to like thwomps, tornadoes, anything that would like move you, anything that would damage you as you walk by, like the spiny thing. So like a lot of bad events, you don't skip good events, so you still do good events, like the board events. If you land on a space, you still have to do that. So it's pretty good. It is fully luck based though, because you're relying on the dice you get. So because if you get a 1, it's just gonna go to a 2. Like, yay, I got an extra space. And let's say you want a 10, for example, and it switches it to 20, you just got screwed over. So that one's situational as well. Am I missing any pairs? Toad, yeah, that's right. Mushrooms. The people that I played is nice. Yeah, Toad and Toadette have triple mushrooms, which is really good. The only problem with that is if you have it active, it's active for 3 turns. You cannot use any other orbs for 3 turns. So that's the one does. I mean, when you're using ability, you can't use anything for that set amount of turns anyway. But theirs is especially long because it's 3 turns. So it's all right. There's no one else, right? There can't be anyone else.
Don't think so.
So yeah, it introduces that mechanic, which is really cool. And it kind of starts the tier list if you want to think about it, because Super really initiates it, but Mario Party 7 was kind of the starter pack if you want to think about it that way. And then the music is really good in terms of the game. We'll get to the music later, but that was really good. The different boards are good. There's still 6 boards in that game. I think Mario Party 5 is still the highest with 7. Actually, I think Mario Party 1 at 8 or something, but they were all not that great. So either way, but in terms of the ones we played, Mario Party 5 still is most with 7, but 6 is still pretty decent. I accept 6 when it comes down to boards. And most of them are pretty good. I don't think there's really any I hate particularly. I don't really like Pyramid Park too much. That's just because I don't like desert aesthetics, and I also think it's kind of lame that they kind of reuse the same gimmick as Snowflake Lake, with it being worse, because Snowflake Lake is better in my opinion. But I think Pagoda Peak is genius. The fact that it's a super linear board, there's no choices to make, you just gotta go to the top and fight for coins. The fact that there's like a dual stadium is really cool, so like 3 spaces in a row are just straight duels. I think that well, there's Bowser's Chain Inferno, which is like every time he sinks an island, you lose half your coins. Like, that's pretty brutal, but I mean, it's Bowser's board, so of course it is. You have Neon Heights, which I think is probably my favorite out of the board than 7. Just because, first of all, I think space is awesome, you guys know this, but also because it's neon space, even better. And also, I think the gimmick of like, oh hey, there's 3 treasure chests, one has a star, one has coins, and one is death. What one do you want? And you don't know, which is pretty cool. And then that also makes, another thing that Mario Party 7 does well is it introduces special orbs depending on the board you're on. So for example, you'll never get a bone orb on Grand Canal because there's no, obviously, chain chomps to use it on. So the bone is specific, the Lakitu is specific, the poison mushroom is specific. I think you can only get that on Grand Canal. So it's very interesting that there's always a orb specific per board. Which is pretty cool. Bowser's Chain Inferno, I don't know what that one is. I don't know if that has any, but I know that most of them have like a specific orb that's used on them. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, most of the boards are cool except for Pyramid Park. I'm not a huge Pyramid Park fan because they just utilize the same thing. There's a bunch of bonus modes because first of all, there's the 8-player bonus mode. So if you have 8 friends that you can play with, you can have 8 people playing at one time on one board, which is insane. I don't think any Mario Party game has done that yet, besides that one. And the way you do that is 2 people share a controller, so one person holds the left side, the other person holds the right side. So like the stick and the L buttons and stuff, that's all one person, and then the A and B and like all that stuff is reserved for the right person. So it's really interesting that you can do that. You have the minigame mode, which has 6 different modes in and of itself. You have the story mode. There is a story mode in the game. It's a bit better than 5 is, because you kind of go through all the courses and you got to beat the Koopa Kids again, I'm pretty sure. But either way, it's very interesting. So there's a lot of modes to choose from, so that's what's done well as well. And I think the character selection is done well. I think the only person they got rid of was Koopa Kid, right? Because he's not in that game anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I think they took him away and put in Birdo for some reason. But I think it's still a really good character selection because you still have a lot of characters to choose from. But yeah, moving on to what could be improved. I'm not a huge fan of the duel mechanic. I like the fact that duels are in the game, but I'm not a huge fan of the duel mechanic where it's like, oh, you don't know what you're competing for until you win. It's kind of lame.
So you could have like a big epic duel and
it can be nothing. Yeah, there's that too. So not only do you not know what you're fighting for, sometimes it can be worth nothing. So like Zach just said, maybe you'll have like a super epic clutch victory that you're gonna remember for the rest of your days, and you get nothing out of it.
Or you could be like hoping that you get like something. Like let's say your opponent has 1 coin and then 4 stars. You're trying to get their stars, but then you roll like you get 10 coins and then you get their 1 coin. So if you're really unlucky, sometimes you can just get really screwed over by the reward.
And apparently someone found that if you're in second place specifically, there's it's like a 5% chance, which is small. It seems on the surface it seems small, but it's a 5% chance that 2 stars, because sometimes you can get 1 or 2 stars. 2 stars, there's a 5% chance that it doesn't even show up for second place. All the other places have it. First place, you would think if any place were to have that mechanic, it's first place. Nope, they don't have any percent of chance of that happening. They're always gonna have 2 stars if their opponent has 2 stars. Third place still has it. Fourth place obviously still has it. So it's weird to me that second place is the only place that doesn't have that, or that has that rather. The second place is the only place that has a 5% chance of not having 2 stars, even if their opponent has 2 stars of steel. It's weird. So I don't understand that. There's the oversight I mentioned earlier where like Birdo and Yoshi will never use their eggs if they're on a CPU. It doesn't matter what difficulty you put them on, they'll never use them, so they'll just build up eggs and then they can never use an orb ever again, so it makes them super easy to play with. I think in our series we avoided Yoshi and Birdo for that exact reason, because I didn't want them to be useless and not using orbs. Because remember, there's an orb star in the game, or bonus star. If you play bonus stars, that's a bonus star you can get. So yeah, it's a little stupid. I think Pyramid Park, again, I mentioned earlier, I don't like it, and I think it's because they saw the success of Snowflake Lake and were like, oh, let's try that again. and I don't think it worked too well. I think it's a little dumb. Because remember, the reason Snowflake Lake was so good is because, first of all, Chance Stop existed. Second of all, there's the whole middle section that you could sneak into during the night and you could go into during the day to avoid the chain jumps. In Pyramid Park, there's only that one section that you can go into to avoid the chain jumps, and you have to pay to get in, whereas in the Snowflake Lake, only at night you had to pay to get in. So it was kind of dumb, and it was only like it was only like 2 rows of spaces you can go on, and then you're back into the fray of things. So I think it's kind of lame. Pyramid Park in terms of that. Grand Canal is like the basic board, so it's basic. I mean, I guess technically speaking. So, I think that's the majority of my complaints. Do you guys think of anything else that we haven't talked about already?
I mean, you pretty much hit all the heavy ones.
Yeah, if there's stuff that we're missing, I mean, a lot of people had a problem with the fact that there's 6 bonus stars now instead of 3, because when there's 3, you know what you're competing for, and when there's 6, you don't necessarily know what you're competing for. But to me, that adds challenge, as in like, oh, you need to kind of shoot for all 6 if possible. Or if you're in a situation where you're already losing on 3 of them, you need to focus on the other 3, hoping that those other 3 are going to get. So I think to me that adds a bit more strategy. I know a lot of people had a problem with that, but I personally did not. Yeah, so I can't really think of any other things. I'm sure if I watched the full Mario Party 7 series, I could realize, oh yeah, we hated that thing, but it'd probably be small and minuscule.
Yeah.
Moving on to any problems or glitches. I don't know if the Birdo Yoshi thing is a glitch. I imagine it is, because there's no way that was intentional, because that would be stupid. So I think that's a bug. So I think if you're playing for the sake of playing, I would say don't have Birdo or Yoshi be a computer. If you can play as them, because obviously you can use your own orbs, but the computers will never use egg orbs. So if you have a computer, unless you're trying to make them easier, then I guess sure, whatever. But to me, if I'm playing with a computer, I want them to be a challenge instead of just being there for the heck of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's a bug, a bug or glitch, whatever that is. I don't think much else. If you watch Mario Party 7, you notice we had audio issues. That was the TV's problem. That was not the game's problem. Because back in our old house, our TV was definitely dying. We'll say that. In terms of sound quality. But yeah, so that wasn't anything. So I think that was the only bug worth noting. I don't remember anything else, because the Nintendo games are usually polished to the brim. So that's just a weird oversight that was a thing with Yoshi and Birdo. But moving on to controls. So they teach you the controls all throughout the way. Nintendo's very good about teaching you controls as you go along. So the minigames, there's a little title card that tells you how to do there's even a section in the title card that tells you all about controls. It's like A button to do most things, B button to go back on most things. So it's very simple controls. Mario Party games are meant for kids as well, so very simple controls. So if you're over the age of 5, you'll understand. But moving on to graphics. I don't know if I'm correct on this, but I think because Mario Party 5 was the new engine after 1 through 4, and then I think it went 5, 6, 7 on this same engine, and then 8 starts a new engine. So I think it's the same graphic style as 6, and I think 6 was pretty good. Remember, Mario Party 7 was probably 2008, 2009, no, probably 2008. Somewhere around there. It was a while ago. That's all you need to know. It was a while ago, and it still looks that crisp, so it's pretty good. But not much to say about it otherwise. Moving on to music/sound. The music in this game is pretty good, assuming your TV doesn't bug out and you can't hear it. But it's pretty good. It's very catchy, especially in Neon Heights. The music track that plays there is pretty catchy. The only thing is because once you come back from a minigame, it recycles the same song, so I can see how people might find it annoying. But to me, it's really catchy. So yeah, all the songs are pretty good. You have the main theme, which is really good as well. So yeah, the music is really well done. The sound, obviously, any Mario Party game has excellent sound because they make sure the sound is good for each game. So I would say that the sound is really good. But yeah, the music specifically is really good. So moving on to story and characters. So the story mode, like I said, you can always play party mode, but the story mode And I'm pretty sure Bowser's upset that you went on a vacation without him. He's so salty about it that he tries to ruin your vacation by sending the Koopa Kids after you and messing with you. So he's really just sad in that one, because in 6 the story wasn't even Bowser's. 5 the story was Bowser having trying to make you have a nightmare or whatever. But yeah, so the actual plot is kind of lame. But I mean, in terms of the actual execution, it's pretty fine. But yeah, that's the story. You stop them, you win. Good job. The final boss fight for the Mario Party 7 though is pretty cool. You essentially are on this elevator with 4 dice blocks, and you gotta hit the dice blocks. The dice blocks determine how many floors you move up. You gotta reach the 100th floor. Bowser attacks you all throughout it, and then Bowser Jr. comes in around. It was Koopa Kid, I think, not Bowser Jr. But Koopa Kid comes in around floor 50, and they start doing different attacks. It's really cool. But yeah, so that's the story. But the characters, we mentioned them at the very start. Mario, Luigi, all the classic guys. Like I said, the only difference between 6 and 7 is that Koopa Kid is gone and Birdo is in the game. That's the only difference. Yeah, so those are all the characters. And of course you have Toadsworth, which is in very select games. He's in Sunshine, this one, Color Splash, and I think a couple others. But that's really it. And then he never shows up ever again. I think he's referenced in Fortune Street or something, but other than that, he's kind of just gone. So he's probably dead. So this Mario Party 7 might be the last time you see him.
Most likely.
You have the characters you find on the board and stuff, but they're all side characters and minuscule characters. So moving on to replayability. Because it is a random chance game, I'm going to put it in the middle. You will probably find some new stuff every time you play the game. But I will say at some point it will become the same. So I'm not gonna give it Minecraft status or anything. But yeah, there's a lot of replayability here, because even if, let's say you just want to do the story mode, you have the party mode after that, you have the 8-player mode after that, because you can play 8-player mode with a computer. You don't need 8 friends for that. So you have the 8-player mode, you have the minigame mode, which has 6 modes in and of itself, so it's pretty crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of replay value afterwards. After you beat one of the modes, you still have a lot of modes to go after that. And then you can keep playing the same modes over and over again, doesn't matter. But moving on to personal takes. I think Mario Party 7 is a really good middle-of-the-road Mario Party game. I think there's some things I didn't like, there's things I did like with it. And overall, I think it's a great game in terms of Mario Party. I think Mario Party 8 did stuff better, and I think it also did stuff worse. So I think it kind of goes hand-in-hand. Once you get to Mario Party 9 and 10, it just goes down the drain.
It's just downhill slope.
Can't wait for that 2-minute review of those. But yes, essentially Mario Party 7 I think is a good middle-of-the-road Mario Party. But we'll move on to Zachary.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Mario Parties 1, 2, 3 were the classics, Then 4, 5, 6, they were the GameCube solidified hood classics. They were the good stuff. 7, I feel was the beginning. It wasn't the gun-ho beginning, but it was the slow beginning of sort of a decline with it. Now, don't get me wrong, Mario Party 7 is great. I think it's really good. It has some really good mini games, and I like the boards, and I like most of the boards, and it's really fun. But it starts to show, I think, a bit more cracks in it than, let's say, Mario Party 5 or 6. Though that's also just personal preference. In fact, there's people that like Mario Party 9 and 10. Weirdos. Yeah,
and I was gonna say that is personal preference, because there's people that think Mario Party 5 was the decline. Which I think, if you don't like Mario Party 5, that's fine. I think the only thing keeping it up for me is nostalgia. And I think I referenced that in the review we did of it. But I think Mario Party 6 was too good to say that was the decline, because that would imply that Mario Party 6 sucked as well. And I think Mario Party 6 is great. I think we gave that an 8 or something. Yeah, I think that's Mario Party 6 one of the best in the series. So, ignoring the fact that Mario Party 5 has a bunch of A-mashing and a lot of problems with it, I don't think it could have been the decline there. So I think Mario Party 7... I think Mario Party 8 to me was the decline.
8 was really the beginning of it, but 7 I think kind of set it up a little bit in stone. I feel like, you know what I mean? It was like the saying, the straw that breaks the camel's back. This is the field. Mario Party 7 was growing the straw, I think. You know what I mean?
Okay. Were you going somewhere with this, or what?
So the 7 is growing the straw to break the camel's back. 8 is pulling the straw from the field, and 9 is breaking the camel's back.
Great, but we're talking about Mario Party 7.
But in any case, I do think it is a really, it's fun. I'll give you that. It's fun.
All right, Isabel.
Yeah, while you were talking, I did think of one thing that I did not enjoy about Mario Party 7. Don't get me wrong, I really do like Mario Party 7, but I think this game was the one to introduce the mic minigames. Not the ones that you had to like...
I thought 6 did that too.
6 was the one that introduced my minigame.
Okay, but like... Yeah, I think that was. Okay, so... But I think 7... Was it 7 that had like most of the mic minigames that were like either like weighted for one team or the other?
I believe it had Mathematician, it had Oil Crisis, it had, I think that's the game I'm thinking of.
It had those ones, yeah.
It had those ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Which were, most of them were.
Mathematician is dumb if you don't have the mic. It's like, because we don't have the mic because it's, first of all, it's garbage anyway. Second of all, I wasn't going to pay $50 for a mic that doesn't work. So, we didn't use it, so we stuck with the controller because we still wanted to play the minigames, but Mathematician with the controller's awful. Yeah. And even with the, I watched people play the game, and even people that had the mic would say, like, they would say 7, and it would shoot at 3. It's like, what? Yeah. So, it sounds like that minigame just sucks.
Clockwatch was good, though.
Clockwatch was good, Oil Crisis was good when it decided to work. Clockwatch, or Oil Crisis depended on how screwed you got, though. Sometimes they wouldn't want to give you a lot of, like, for example, I remember this one time where Zach got, like, super handed to him because there's, like, 50 oils next to him, and then Isabel played right after that, and she had, like, none. It was like, well, okay, I see who you're trying to win.
Wow, okay.
But,
yeah. Other than that, then I think the game is pretty awesome.
I did just remember through Isabel's mic minigame thing, though, is that this was the game that got rid of chance time.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Party 7 does not have chance time, whereas Mario Party 6 had it, Mario Party 5 had it, Mario Party 4 had it. You get the idea.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, they call it different things. It will always be chance time to me, because that's what it was called in Mario Party 5, and that's what I grew up with. I know it's called Fortune something in 4, and then chance time throughout. But yeah, Mario Party 7 was the first game to completely get rid of chance time. It does not exist. Mario Party 8, because it starts to train, because Mario Party 8 doesn't have it either. It has duels that's kind of acts as a chance time, but it's not the same. So I think that, to me, was not cool. Yeah, we'll move on to, is it worth it? So Mario Party 7 is no longer in production, so you can only get the existing copies, and the way you do that is either on eBay, Amazon sellers sometimes have it, so it depends on where you get it. I got mine personally on eBay. And because it's not in production anymore, they're kind of rare. So they're about 60 to 80 bucks, depending on how much you're willing to pay for it. I would say if you're either a person that doesn't like Mario Party games, B, a person that has watched the game and is like, I don't know if I like that, or C, you're like, don't want to spend 80 to 60 bucks on a game, then I would say 100% not worth it to you. The only time I see this being worth it is if you want to continue your collection of the Mario Party games, or if you think you want it, because those are the only two scenarios where I think you would want it. Because if you have watched the game and like, oh, that looks really cool, I want to play that with my friends or whatever, or friends or family, doesn't matter, then sure, why not? But if you don't like Mario Party games, or you've only liked a couple of them so far, then I probably would say definitely not. Because 60 to 80 bucks is no dime. It's no dime in the water. That is a lot of money for a video game. Because that's even more if you pay, especially if you pay 80. That's even more than what it was worth back then. So it's definitely way more expensive than it was before. So I would say overall no, unless you're in that select demographic that either needs to finish their collection or they want to play this with their friends and family, whatever. Then I'd say at that point, sure. Moving on to final rating out of 10. So I think because we gave Mario Party 6, 5 was a 8 or 9. I forgot. Probably.
I think it was an 8.
I hope it's an 8. I feel like if we did 9, I feel like that's the bias sleeping through there. Mario Party 6, I believe, was a low 8, probably 7. I forgot exactly what we gave that one. I think it's about what I think we gotta do it. I think this game is a low 6 to me. Ooh. I think it's a middle of the road game. They took away chance time. I can't believe I almost forgot about that. They took away chance time, which seeded the route until finally Superstars brought it back, because they were bringing back the old games anyway. Until that game brought it back, you had that long stretch of period where chance time didn't exist. And Mario Party 7 was the thing that started that. Zach was talking about Mario Party 7 starting like the decline. I think that fits into that narrative as well, because they took away chance time, and I think chance time is the one thing that's like, oh, here we go, I can't wait to get screwed over, because like, you know you're gonna get screwed over, but that's the fun part. It's like, it's all random baloney anyway. It was very strategic in Mario Party 6, strategic in Mario Party 5, so yeah, it's very sad that they took that away. I don't like Pyramid Park at all. The only reason we played it is to fulfill the fact that we played it. Didn't enjoy that board at all. I think Grand Canal's kind of boring overall. I think Neon Heights is really the only good board that I would want to go back to. Bowser's is okay, and Windmillville and Pagoda Peak are okay as well, but I think that most of the boards are just like average. They're average boards. I think the fact that there's a huge oversight that Birdo and Yoshi do not use their eggs as a computer, making the fact that if you want a computer player that's actually competent, you have to avoid Yoshi and Birdo. I think that's a huge oversight. Don't know what that was about.
Difficulty, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what difficulty they're on. They could be easy, super expert, doesn't matter. They're going to do that anyway. I think it's a low 6. I think it's a middle-of-the-road game. I think there's a lot of things that could be better about it. 8 does fix a couple things, but it still makes it... There's some things that it still does wrong. But either way, I'm going to give it a low 6, low-end 6. But we'll go to Zachary.
I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to give it a 7, but yeah, I agree with you. It's just the lack of chance time. Chance time was such a chaotic evil for the Mario Party franchise.
It was like it was the symbol of Mario Party, basically.
Seriously, you could have 10 stars at the end, at the last turn, then you land on chance time and you lose it all.
Like
that's Mario Party right there. But so when you take that away, it just kind of lost itself a bit. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like the mini games, like a lot of the mini games were really good. The boards were mostly passable, though. A lot of them were boring. Some of them were fun though. I did like Pagoda Peak and Neon, and you know, some of the specials can be really cool, but yeah, I think it's no more better than maybe middles. I'd say middle 6. You know, I think I liked it a little bit better than you did, but I'd say middle around 6.
All right, Isabel.
Yeah, I'm probably also gonna agree with like a lower middle 6. I don't think it was. I also did not like that they got rid of chance time, since as much as stupid it can be, it's very fun when something like that can change the entire game. And if when they got rid of that, it just doesn't make the game as fun as the past game. So I'll probably also give it like a middle, low 6. Maybe.
And the thing with Mario Party 2 is that with chance time existing, it was always a thing of like, oh, someone could slip into first at any moment, and like that's what kind of made the game interesting. With Mario Party 7, as you got through the last 10 turns, it's like, oh, okay, I think we have an idea of who's gonna win now. So it was kind of like destroyed the illusion of like, oh, there's some random event that's gonna happen. Don't worry, I could pull through. But like it's because it got rid of it. And like I said, we talked about this earlier, is that chance time was kind of like the symbol of Mario Party. Because if you don't believe me, go back to the Henry Stickmin collection, wherein the final one, it was one of the pathways. I don't remember the exact pathway, but essentially you're trying to steal the ruby or whatever, or the emerald. I think it's the emerald, and one of the wrong decisions you can make is you can do a chance time event thing, and he rolls the dice, and it says the dudes get the emerald, and it was dun, 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 and plays the music. So like that's the symbol of Mario Party, and so to take away the symbol of Mario Party in a Mario Party game, that's like removing Sonic from a Sonic game. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's like making a Sonic game but making him slow. You know what I mean? It's just that the symbol of it is just gone.
Well, I wouldn't say that's the symbol. I'd say more like the rings or like Eggman is like the symbol. Like you get the idea. You're taking away the soul of the game. Yeah. And exactly. So that's why I gave it such a low 6, because I think I didn't want to give it a 5 because I didn't think it was that bad, but I think it was definitely to me a lower 6 because of the chance time thing. And I can't believe I almost forgot about that too. But yeah, that's gonna do it. So we'll be moving on to Mario Party 8 at some point. I do have a lot of things to say about that game. But yeah, we do custom outros for these, so you can check that out. You can check out the reviews playlist over on the when that happens. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.